whether they are undergraduate, postgraduate, what it means for them post-COVID-19, how things are evolving, both in a positive sense as well, I would say, and what should they be ready for, what should they be ready with, and so on. So thank you once again of investing your years of industry exposure and experience at such a young age, having worked with an array of international brands in the country, and to share that industry insight, to share that industry relevance to the next generation. So thank you once again. To take it further as well, I also want to introduce Mr. Manoj, the head of academics for our luxury and fashion management program. He's joined us virtually from the campus in Mumbai. And he'll also, as we move forward in the conversation, I think we've got around about 45 minutes of engagement, and then we're going to have an interactive session with students to ask questions, be able to interact, and kind of, ensure that we have as much as time to be able to answer them. But what we're going to do, students, is, and for all of you joining from world over, once the session is over, you could start listing your questions on the chat box. Mr. Manoj will pick them up and get them to Anisha to address. Feel free to ask questions which are more relevant to everybody and generic rather than something that's personal to you. But this is the first of a series of industry masterclasses in the month. So, we're sure that we're going to continue engaging with you over the last 100 days. 75 global and Indian industry insiders have blessed us with their time. So, Anisha, over to you. Thank you once again. And we hope to see you soon also on further engagement with our students on the campuses.
Okay, so hello everyone, once again. Thank you, Shivang, Manoj and Gauri. Amazing introduction. I didn't know so much was going to be said. And so, of course, I will share the course of the entire session. Before that, on a happy note, greetings to everyone. And the wishes will be, I hope everyone's COVID-free. And apart from that, I will not touch how the industry is affected because of COVID or what we have to do, because we're talking about it every day. So to begin with, just to give you all a little introduction about me, I have passed out from Milan Girls School, and after that I have done BCom Honors from Delhi University. And then I have done my Masters from Narsi Munji's executive course. This was while I was working, and I had a very good chance to intern with amazing companies like the Leela Hotel and Do It Hotels. After that, my first job was with Ernst & Young. It was a Big Four. Then I was a part of Zomato. All these profiles were based on marketing and analytics. And initially, the mindset that I had, like any other student of that age, was that I will be entering into a phase which is of auditing, accounts, or numbering because of the courses that I did. But today, I will say it enhanced where I'm standing. And the backbone of fashion is not just the design as a subject, but all this counts. So coming back to my life after Zomato, I got an opportunity with one of the franchisee partners in Delhi to head marketing for Versace, Roberto Cavalli and Missoni. And these are amazing brands, taught me a lot. And everything that I gathered from there, I put into my current professional life, which is with Saint Laurent, Tod's, Berluti, and other brands which come under the group. So I am definitely free to talk to everyone personally later on if you have any questions regarding the career path or the opportunities. But the focus today of being here on this platform is to first of all encourage the students who are studying fashion already, because there seems a lot of negative word in the market about the future of fashion and luxury. So it is very important to sort of give you a wake-up call and tell you that it's not ending. It's nothing to be discouraged about. And second focus is to inform everybody, sort of give a reminder that, there's a mindset in our country that anybody who is studying fashion or probably a design course does not have to be technologically intelligent or scientifically intelligent. So I want to talk about this and change this mindset. Numbers will always help you. Technological advancement will always help you. And I have examples to share with you further. I will give you certain material which you can go through later on. I will share a few YouTube links and we can begin then. If that's okay, Gauri and Manoj, you can give me a go ahead and we can.
Yes, please. Yes, please. Yes, let's start.
Okay. So with respect to my recent past, being a part of the fashion industry, I have understood that there are two sets of people. One is the people who are specifically buying luxury for the show-off factor. We can be honest, and it's a realistic situation that in India, most of the people, they saw each other when they started indulging in buying luxury fashion. And the other 20 to 30% are those set of people who are travelers, who know about the brand, they know about the heritage. So I would really focus on talking about how 3 E's, I define it as the 3 E's, which are really important to inculcate in our fashion study and our fashion industry once we enter as a professional. So first is entertainment, second is engagement, and third is education. You can, in your mind, you can change the order of the three. It is very important to educate your client or your potential buyer about the bag, shoe, ready to wear, anything that they're buying. Today, for a lot of brands, we talk about everything being logo driven. People want to just show off the logo. The education lies behind talking about the fact where the logo was picked out. Most likely, the best example that I can share is that Versace had a typical logo over these years. Their designs, their Barocco print, everything came from an inspiration, which was from an archive of Gianni Versace. I have visited the Miami Versace Museum. It tells you the heritage where the brand is coming from. It is, once you understand these things, you become a more loyal customer. So I believe the education is really important. Secondly, the engagement. An engagement with a client does not mean messaging or emailing them. It means engaging them with your brand. Maybe calling them over to the store over events, or hosting them separately in personal spaces. All this will give you and your brand priority. So this is again one area which I will be pushing for and talking in detail. Thirdly, as I said, entertainment is very important. The simplest example that I would like to share, very specific and my personal view, very specific to India, is about Ranveer Singh. So he was a fan of Versace. I'm sure he is now as well. You can go on his Instagram and Facebook. Over the last 1.5 years, he used to wear Versace or pick a shoe or an accessory from Versace and put boomerangs with the Versace song. All this entertained the clients so much that they messaged the store asking for what Ranveer Singh is wearing and they wanted it. So that entertainment very closely linked us to our celebrity dressing and to evolve and change the whole concept. So apart from that, I would like to mention that anybody who is not already into luxury, for example, if you're studying a course in design or anything related to luxury, but you plan to switch your line or join something which is not really fashion and retail, say hotels, because they do stand in a luxury category. For that area also, because I worked with Leela Hotels and my parents have a background from the Oberoi Hotels, I would say the essence is as simple as a fact that the cinnamon powder that you put on a cocktail matters. The cocktail doesn't matter, the cinnamon powder and the topping matters. So that's a very important aspect and something that I would want everyone to carry with them after this session. Apart from that, my second area of in detail talking is about few hindrances that I faced as an employee in the industry. So a lot of brands have an expectation that in India, marketing a product at the store is powerful, which may not be the case. We always had to pick out tools of marketing and promotion which were more one-on-one driven, probably to call a client to virtually showcase products to them by sending pictures or video calling. And it could mean doing a small tea arrangement for the clients. These kind of gaps, I would say, are always there for the Indian market versus the European markets. And this is an area of hindrance that we all collectively as young professionals should work on in the fashion industry of India. Secondly, let's come to another very important aspect, which is a myth. I would call it a myth. So I know a lot of students who are much younger to me and are little confused or trying to figure out their further future of study. So there is this mindset that after studying fashion and design, you will enter a company which is either a direct brand or a brand which is functioning like a franchising model. I would really like to convey to all of you that that's not the case. You can enter a concept store which has multiple brands. So your knowledge and your liking has to be open to all kinds of brands. The simplest example is of, say, Shoppers Stop. It's a concept store, it has different brands. Again, a Harrods or a Collective has different brands. So please be open to your study in such a way that you don't have a particular, you don't block yourself. Open your area of study and horizon. Apart from that, another myth which might make everybody a little sad. You do need accounts and numbers and business concepts from your stage one of being a part of luxury. People run away from numbers and they think, oh, styling is a good option as a career, or probably marketing and PR is good. But believe me, from day one, you do need Excels, you do need business analytics, you need to understand Google Sheets and simple calculations, yes. Again, I would want to talk about the concept of multiplier, which is really important to us in our country and otherwise also, because the entire concept of buying or promotion depends on your multipliers and your percentage that you're spending on a brand as a direct brand or a franchisee. And as a student, please don't skip those areas. And apart from that, please be very handy with movements. Don't agree on a job profile or a future, I would say opportunity where you're based out of one city. Make sure you're traveling to different cities and countries and analyzing the taste and fashion of every segment. India is, believe me, the biggest exception in terms of fashion and the biggest exception in terms of luxury. But within India, maybe Bombay, Pune functions totally different compared to Delhi and the northern side. So it's very important that no matter where you belong to, you understand other markets. And even if you need, other associates, even if you need other people to take you around, find those contacts, get on the field now. And that's like a very strong message. Should I continue with my third segment because it's in line?
Yes, please, yes. Just let me know, Anisha, when you'd like us to share the videos as well.
Yes, sure.
Fine.
So in my third segment, my focus is to talk about a little advancement that India needs to grow and to cope up with the industry. And that will not just happen with technology or machinery. It will require all of us. Our human brains need to be put in a synchronized way to cope up with US, Europe, and other markets. For this, my latest research and advice goes on to talking about RFID, which is a radio frequency technology, which is really supportive and helpful in the kind of business we all lie in. It is a technology which talks about inventory management and logistics. One of the main hindrances that we have faced over these years working with these brands, and I'm sure everyone has, is you have thousands of pieces of inventory. To count or to do your audit or to bill or maintain your records, a lot of mishandling and damage or miscounting happens when you're doing it manually. RFID is a very nice technology introduced by a lot of European countries, some parts of US as well. Germany is quite a lead. So the process is that RFID is a tag which has a chip, and you have a pinned remote to note your entire inventory, so you don't have to open the boxes. If you are sure about the source and the packing of the products, you don't have to manually open the boxes and do the counting. So in a minute, I would ask Gauri to show us the video on RFID.
Sure.
And the second video also you can play after a while. Yeah, you can begin the RFID video.
Okay.
MSM Solutions helps your business take control of inventory and enhance product visibility with RFID integration and portal track. Radio frequency identification, or RFID, uses a small silicone microchip and antenna that allows you to instantly count, track, and manage millions of items in real time, cutting costs and accelerating your supply chain. Portal Track gives you the power to control your data with robust data integration to a variety of business systems. MSM Solutions Portal Track keeps you connected and organized with real-time monitoring and customized analytical reporting that can be deployed across multiple platforms, including mobile, desktop, and web-based systems. With over 30 years in the business and customers all around the world, MSM Solutions is a proven and trusted leader in RFID integration. We make it simple, quickly providing you with a turnkey solution that is custom tailored to meet the needs of your business with on-site hardware and software integration, state-of-the-art Zebra printers, encoders, and fixed and mobile readers, as well as best-in-class support and training. Trust the best in the business. Trust MSM Solutions. For more information, go to msmsolutions.com or call us at 1-800-832-3170.
Thank you so much, Gauri. I hope everybody could understand the gist of what I meant. So, of course, the in-depth detail about the concept can be researched onto. You can connect with me because I'm already figuring out the companies who are ready to fix the whole process for our brands in India, for a lot of other brands. The concept is divided into two segments. One is definitely the tagging and the counting by the infrared rays. The second is a step ahead, which is about having a smart RFID room. So there you don't have to even swipe through the card or pin through the remote. The moment you carry something out, it gets noticed with your infrared rays. So that's an advancement. Apart from this, one of a very important concept for any student or anybody who's an active part of the industry is artificial intelligence. Again, we'll show you a video in a minute, which will give you a little brief about how it works. Conceptually, considering today's time and even the future, we will have a lot of people who would not want to walk inside a store, or probably would not do it because of the time constraint, etc. So we will have RFID screens which link your inventory to your store computers, and these store computers work as your artificial intelligence layouts to the customers. So there are two aspects to it. First is when your customer walks into the store, instead of actually trying the clothes, they can try the clothes on the screen. Second is, again, your inventory computer and everything is linked. That computer gives out a link to your clients at home and they can try it at their house. So Gauri, can you just help me with the video for the same?
Show me skirts. Show me blue. Yes.
Vale.
Okay, so thank you again, Gauri, for the video. I hope everybody could understand the gist of it and the kind of technology that eventually will be entering Asia and India. And we should definitely already be prepared, and we should cope up to inculcate this in our system and industry. One very important message is, if people are inclined to enter this industry, even from a different space, maybe you are not a student or studying, but you want to switch, I would suggest a very bright future and a very strong evaluation as an employee or a person being in the industry. I have reasons for this motivation. The first is that people used to enter luxury and fashion probably because of the fancy look of it, because of the luxurious walk talk and being in the best of places and all of those reasons. This has completely evolved. There's an evolution which has come. I'm very sure that colleagues and friends who are elder to me and who are in this industry for longer would completely side by this. So now luxury and fashion is a space where you become the doer. If you are motivated enough to spend those extra hours of work to apply your brain, which is not just limited to a certain study, but research and application of math, science, technology, fashion, other aspects of learning, general knowledge, then it's the right space to grow. Because entering fashion, honestly, I would say, is easy if you're creative. If you stand out, if you're creative, you can be a part of any brand, any association. But to grow, you really need these strong points to push you up. And that's a motivation that I would give to any one of you who would like to connect later on as well. I have material that I would be very happy to share with in terms of real life examples as well. And apart from that, an important point, after this session, I do understand that, you know, there could be a lot of questions that you all have. Some we may address, some we might be a little slow on. I would suggest you can email me these points, but even if you're not interacting from your end, I would just like to give you a little takeaway, a giveaway from this session eventually at the end. If possible, just note down these points, please. So one is intense research about the multiplier effect. Definitely, we all studied it back in school in economics, and the application of the multiplier effect in your retail, fashion, or luxury industry, very important concept for you to understand how, what percentage of the entire investment is spent towards buying. Out of that buying, what percentage is applied to marketing, promotion, client management, and other aspects. So multiplier effect, very important for your benefit. Secondly, as I said, when you research about RFID, it should be very, very specific to inventory management, because that's something which is causing a little hindrance or obstacle, I would say, in the industry for everyone, because until now, until I would say the last 3 to 4 years, we all were really manual in everything that we did. So that's one. Artificial intelligence, again, conceptually, it's vast. It can be applied from any space of analytics to fashion, to design, to movie. But your area of research, more relevant to you, will be to understand the virtual clothing process and how a subject can be totally brought out called fashion sciences. It can be something initiated by you. You can do a project on it. You can talk to your faculty. You can talk to us. I'm sure there are learned scientific experts who would be able to help us understand what we haven't studied in the recent past, and how we can absorb the whole artificial intelligence in our virtual learning. And then I would like to stop and hand over to Shivang in a minute to conclude a few things, and then I can take over again. But a little message for everyone is, please understand that after you're done with your courses, irrespective of the course or the field that you're in, whether it is styling or whether it is design, the focus should be on what job profile you want to enter into. Because a lot of companies might not have a job profile for styling separately, but it could be a part of their marketing team. Again, if you're studying buying, which is a very specific, I would say, course. So again, be open to understanding digital marketing, how clients are reached out. Keep a holistic approach and an eye-opener to understand all areas, because I have experienced that as well. With a lot of brands, I was a part of visual merchandising because that interested me. I wanted to understand how just a placement of a small shoe horn can make a difference at the store. So please be open to the entire industry and the entire aspect. Don't restrict yourself. And I would like Manoj and Shivang to just take over and brief us a little, and then we can move further.
Thank you very much, Anisha. That was lovely. I think that was one of the most interesting sessions that we've sat through in a long time. I think looking forward to the future with regards to the RFID technology, the QR codes which are coming into the clothing, which is an old technology, but it's just being rethought by a lot of young entrepreneurs out there. They're just rehashing the whole thing, just looking at the same problem in a different way, making a better rat trap of sorts. But thank you very much. That was lovely. I think setting the futuristic perspective, and in the very early on when you cleared out the fact that of all the negative ideologies which are spreading out there, oh my god, fashion industry is going to be impacted. I have been talking to a lot of e-commerce, luxury e-commerce companies also at this point, established ones, and what I've come to know is that their sales have increased 3 times over So there is a lot of buoyancy in the market. I personally feel that things are going to come back to normal very, very soon. So thank you very much for the session. I think our students have all put a lot of questions in chat, and I think Gauri, are you there? Can you can you reach out to those questions and ask a few questions to us?
Yes, please. So there are a couple of questions here. What I would actually suggest if a few students would actually like to take this opportunity to come and engage directly with Anisha. So the students who've asked their questions, I suggest you could start with unmuting yourself and switching on your cameras if you're comfortable. We could start with Ria Solanki. Ria, would you like to come and ask your question very quickly? This is a cue for all students to unmute themselves. Please, let's try to economize time as much as we can.
Gauri, I think, Ms. Solanki, are you there?
I've sent her a cue to unmute. However, I'll read out the question.
Yes, please.
So what she's asking is, how can this type of technology help with the sizing of garments? Yes.
Repeat the question.
Yes, please. She's saying, how can this type of technology help with the sizing of garments? Garments like skirts, it usually is the bottom. So basically what she's talking about is the fitting. How do you kind of get a clear idea about fitting?
Okay, so thank you for the question. Okay, I will brief you. The concept of RFID and AI are different. So talking about artificial intelligence with respect to the fitting of the dress comes in when you tap in a tentative idea of your body measurement. So the selection of the inventory which appears on the screen, out of which you select while you're walking in at the store or at your home, comes filtered. For example, if the sizing that I wish or I know that I'm a small size, I feed in that in my AI system, and then it shows me those options. And that's how the size is managed for every kind of clothing.
Right. Thank you so much for that, Anisha. The next question is from Fareen. I sent her a cue, but I think she'll come later. Maybe we could pick up a question by Khushi in the meanwhile. Khushi, would you like to come and ask? Yes, please.
Hi, thank you so much for the session. It's really insightful. I just wanted to ask that do you in India, like heritage brands like Sabyasachi or Manish Malhotra, will they adapt to the 3D fashion shows or even at-home 3D trial?
Okay, so I would only be able to share my personal view on the technology that can be put in. But very good question, because if there's an Indian wear outfit which is really heavy, they might be contemplating of the fact if they want to put it in the AI concept or not. Honestly, I feel eventually it will get evolved, because anything that's body fitted might still take time, but a two-piece Indian wear outfit, I think with so much technological advancement, they can completely put in a human figure and get us the best of images. I think they would be going ahead.
Thank you.
Lovely. Next up is Pratiksha.
Hi, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yeah, hi Anisha. This is a great session. Thank you so much for all the insights that you've been giving. Yeah, so basically, talking about artificial intelligence and luxury, we know that luxury is making a huge entry into the Chinese market right now. We have the Burberry social retail store and like Italian brands and all European brands, they're making an entry. But we know that Chinese technology is not very welcome right now in India. So I just wanted to know that what is the scope of this technology getting developed in our country? Like, do you see it happening probably in the next 5 years, or is it going to take a longer time for this to happen?
Okay, thank you so much for your question, Pratiksha. So first of all, two aspects to this. The technology and the solutions that I'm talking about, for them to be inculcated or absorbed in our system or our country, it will take 2 to 5 years as per my understanding. But imagine if it takes 2 years for this to be absorbed and inculcated, we all as students and industry people need to be prepared to use it. A technology needs to come and we need to already know how to apply it and use it. talking about the Chinese technology and equipment, I am not very confident to comment if India will be, using Chinese technology or not. Maybe we can use something from Germany because they are quite progressive in this, or another country. Maybe India is very self-sufficient. We are anyway on the campaign of being self-sufficient.
Right.
But I feel as an individual, today you're in India and we're talking about the Indian market. Tomorrow you might get an opportunity to work outside. So you should be prepared to use targeted.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Anisha. That was amazing.
Great. Next up, we have Davina Chabra. Davina, please come and ask your question.
Yes, ma'am. Hi, Anisha. Thank you so much for the lovely session. We've really had a great time listening to all your experiences. My question for you is basically that you have really worked in a varied number of luxury sectors, and your experience has been great. So I want to know which has been your best experience, and what would you recommend for a fresher like all of us to enter the luxury sector in which particular industry?
Okay, thank you for your question. Very good question, relevant to all of you. So, first of all, defining what has been best at my end is a difficult choice because I have not worked with each brand differently. I have worked with two groups which have a set of brands. So, for example, if I'm with one group which has Versace, Cavalli, Missoni, I cannot pick out one best. I had to work my in and out for all three. And again, currently as well, my best of my study, my research and my professional knowledge goes to all 5-7 brands. And my suggestion to you all, as I said, is don't limit your mindsets with what you see on social media from a brand, because the simplest example is Gucci has outspaced a lot of brands. Like it just went all over, globally, not in one continent, but everywhere. It became the favorite brand of everyone. But maybe brands like YSL or maybe brands like Tod's and Versace and all these become as loud as Gucci one day. Or maybe they experiment fashion. So don't understand the brands by the colorfulness, loudness, or what they publicize on media. Go to the heritage and essence, and I'm sure you will begin to love each brand differently. So that's my advice, again, about being open and not restricting yourself. As students who want to pick up a space to enter, first of all, if you have done a specialization, which is a course about buying or designing, then definitely don't leave touch. You have just studied everything. Make sure you apply it practically right after your course. Otherwise, there can be a gap. Of course, when you have had an experience of applying that specialized study for 2 to 3 years, then definitely go to a different section. And I mean, be as experimental later on to even go to operations or probably HR or to understand how hiring happens, anything. But do experiment, yes.
Thank you so much.
That was really nicely explained, Anisha. Thank you so much for that. Next up, we have Hussein. Would you like to come and ask? Okay, I think Hussein is still queuing up. Masoom Chaudhary, would you like to come and ask your question?
Masoom, are you there?
You can see the video, but I guess, yeah.
Yes. Maybe if Hussein is now available, Hussein, you can come and ask. If not, we have Shweta. Shweta, you can also come and ask your question.
Hi. Do you mind if I go ahead?
Yes, please.
All right. So this is regarding fashion shows. I was there at Milan Fashion Week last year, 2019. And I think I met Mr. Shivang there for Vogue Talents. And I was working with one of the Vogue Talents at that point. So, and then, that obviously later on through my university, I went for a million of fashion shows. And I realized at that point that this is basically how buyers and planners are, shopping. And how do you think now that this year, because most brands are doing like no audience fashion shows, even, I mean, some are starting to like accept audience even, I agree, but still most of it is like no audience. How do you think this changes the game for like buyers and planners? And I know because of all of this, styles and trends may even reach like countries like India much later. So how do you think you're gonna like people are gonna bridge the gap? And like this goes out to like the entire panel, not just you, Anisha, because I'm sure everyone knows quite a lot more. So I just want to know your opinion on that.
Okay, so thanks for the question. I will give you the answer and then definitely ask the others to add. So with respect to my understanding, definitely buying and understanding the fabrics and silhouettes was a job which was supposed to be in person, right? You want to feel the fabric, you want to understand where it came from, and then apply it. But a very important aspect was unused, I would say, and hidden over these years, which was the visual aspect of it. Imagine the buyer or the XYZ person buying a fabric in person, but our evolution study says that we are taking everything virtual. So eventually the client is not there to feel the fabric. The piece that you're buying needs to be as good visually as in person for you to eventually sell it, right? So I think it's a good change. Everything that's visually good definitely appeals more. And considering we are talking about luxury brands, there is no chance that, you know, the clients, they see something and they get something. Right? The brands are so good that they will always get what they see. So I think it's a good change and we all need to absorb it. There's no option.
Okay, I just wanted to ask one more, like a counter question for that. So I was working for Pitti Imagine back in Florence, sorry, Milan and Florence, both, sorry. And that's when I realized like small brands are obviously investing into Pitti Imagine because that's their only chance to get their, you know, word out and the brand known to people. How do you think smaller brands or individual or like independent brands are going to adopt to this? Because again, like this year and probably even next year's like absolutely as bad as this year was for a lot of us. How do you think smaller brands would have to adapt to this change?
Okay, so a very simple answer to this will be that today, as an individual, what I stand out to the public by way of Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, or professional emails. And I believe any small individual or business is very well adapting these concepts, and these should be good enough. I mean, there are single selling people who are doing handicrafts and who are doing other clothing lines in Delhi, and they are really outshining. So it's not important to go on a large scale and do a virtual fashion show. I think apart from that, other things do work as well.
So Shweta, I'll just add on a bit to this. I think you've kind of nailed it because last year, this time, 2 weeks from now, we were hosting the FAD Vogue Talent Scouting for India at Palazzo Cusani in Milan. Yeah. And this year, I'm going to talk to you about what happens in 3 weeks from now, since FAD has also been investing heavily into emerging talents. You asked about how do young talents move forward, and I'm just going to give you a couple of very quick examples of what has happened in the last 2 months with emerging talents, Indian emerging talents, smaller brands. What kind of support are they receiving digital? So I'm not going to go back to the address of how we're moving digital and how this is evolving. And as Anisha very rightfully said, we will have to embrace digital technology. It is going to be the future. But there are 2-3 very important things that we need to look here. Number one, if you look at the current Milan Fashion Week calendar, so in 6 months, 23rd, rather post-September, 23rd of February, FAD talents themselves showcased the first ever presentation on the calendar ahead of the DNG show in Milan. So 23rd, we had our students showcasing at the Milan Fashion Week at Camera Moda's official venue. And probably the last day of physical shows, and then everything got cancelled in across Milan. We were there. Now, 6 months fast forward, 50% of the shows are back on the calendar physically. DNG hosted the Alta Roma showcase just literally 3 days back in Florence with people out there. So there are two aspects to look at it. Fashion shows are a multi-pronged approach now. They're not just for buying, they're meant for communication, visual imagery, experience, the end user experience as well, because not only do you have the buyers, you have the media, you have the HNIs, who are out there to experience that in a physical notion. So in my opinion, now is going to be a blended, if we call it, or a multi-pronged, a digital and a physical. Physical will continue. There's no ways that the physical experiences, let's not call it as a fashion week, I call it as an experience. That experience will continue being out there. You look at the business side of it, since you're in Milan, let's say one of the best known showrooms, Riccardo Grazzi, for example, talks a lot about how the Chinese buyers want to go back and touch and feel the garments, and as much as they are doing the virtual, but what it has also done is it has allowed to reach greater markets, deeper markets. So, you're going to have that option of the blended virtual experiences, sitting in your living room. You're going to be able to consume that content visually as an end buyer, but the actual buying might still happen, because the actual buying also has a lot of revenues at stake, and you may want to kind of do the first phase virtually, but eventually you might have a sample shipped to you, or a collection shipped to you for that matter, or you might be traveling in a safe environment to experience the collections, not at the fashion week, but before and after the fashion weeks, to see the collections for ordering. Now, coming to emerging talents, what we are doing, and I'm going to put in straight into context what's happening. The very Woke Talents exhibit that you visited, and FAD was there supporting India's young talent, is going virtual this year. It's a beautiful virtual experience with 3D, AR, VR coming into play, and in a way, we think that that's going to have a larger audience, because that particular physical event was attended over 2 or 3 days by, let's say, X thousand people. But now that Vogue Italia is taking it virtual, they're going to reach millions of people, and that virtual platform for emerging talents, which is fully funded. So FAT funds the India initiative. We invest into the young Indian designers. We take them global. And the next edition right now, just in a few weeks from now, is going to be digital as well. So it's going to be a digital experience. Let's call it as a digital experience. Another initiative, interesting to look at. A lot of you are talking about technology and fashion. One of the groundbreaking, I would say, initiatives, which again FAT partnered with last year and this year, was Helsinki Fashion Week. So Helsinki Fashion Week talked about sustainability to begin with. The entire physical experience was about sustainability, and this year they took it digital. So the founder, Evelyn Mora, who also again is a dear industry friend of FAD, she was on the last LFS panel in India, and we supported 2 Indian designers, Roma and one more winner, whom we actually we hosted a show for them last year in Helsinki. This year they were part of, so Helena and Roma, both of them, Roma Nasangani, she's a jewelry accessory designer, and Helena, who's a textile and a fashion designer, a lifestyle designer. They both presented a fabulous virtual runway show, collaborated with AR and VR specialists from India, and you have to follow what they've done. So the entire experience kind of is a virtual, runway show with a set, with an experience, with avatars of models coming to life, 3D technology, textiles. So it's a very interesting collaboration now. It's opened up the doors of collaboration between fashion and design and technology. And I think, you're going to be able to, we're having conversations, how not only will it, so your question was, how could emerging talents afford it? I would say the technology will help them to make it even more affordable, because imagine, instead of producing a 12-piece, collection, 18-piece collection, 36-piece collection, and then the variants in colors and textiles, with digital support, they're able to now change colors. They're able to experiment with textiles. They're able to give that experience even to the buyers and say, well, this is my look. These are the textiles. These are the colors. So in effect, in the longer run, this may become more affordable for a young designer who might want to embrace technology and present a virtual collection and then eventually just produce few pieces. So it might open the doors for emerging talents in more ways than we can think from an affordability perspective. Okay. Obviously, this is our perspective. Fashion, as we all know, is an industry where the only constant is change. It is an interesting evolving landscape. So let us also not kind of go back to the focus on that we've had a bad 6 months. I think in retrospect, in a couple of years, you will see that this time could be a blessing for a lot of individuals, personally, professionally, and for world at large. When we look back, we might kind of thank the pause for 6 months. It is a pit stop, not a full stop. That is what I continue telling a lot of young emerging talents, that please don't go back with the narrative of, oh my God, we've had a horrible last 6 months and the economy's been spiraling. Look at the positive elements. Look at what young talents could have done in the 6 months, what they are more prepared with, what we are all prepared for, and where I think we're all re-energized for a very, very exciting time ahead. So please don't be demotivated by a phase. It's a short phase. Industry is going to come back. Business is going to get back. It's a process. Once the only thing that can happen now is things can get better. So please do not worry about especially for emerging talents as well. Yes, it has been challenging all over, all through emerging talents. When you enter the industry, it is an exciting industry, but a very challenging industry. So that persistence will have to be there. But digital innovation is going to obviously add value. Okay, that's just to kind of share some thoughts, Shweta. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, I think that was an amazing detailed answer. Because I've been having these thoughts. So I came across this through a friend who saw this webinar on the FAD website. And thank you firstly for letting it open to everyone and not just FAD students, because I am not an FAD student.
That's absolutely okay.
But I feel like this was really insightful. And these are thoughts that have been like constantly going on in my mind. And also because, so I graduated recently from Polymoda back in Florence. And this takes me back to basically the fact that, we were also looking forward to working with young talents, and we were looking forward to working with emerging brands, because obviously it's not possible as a fresher you go directly into like Gucci or Prada, right? Obviously it takes, it's step by step. I do know people who have gotten directly with the companies, but obviously people work for different places, yada, yada, yada. And I was more excited to work for an emerging talent or a new talent. I want to know, I'm so sorry if I'm taking up like a lot of your time.
That's no problems, go on.
I just want to know more about what do you think is going to happen regarding like basically hiring people from other countries or like going, if for me, like for example, I plan to basically have a career in Europe. But given the situation and given the stricter rules of immigration and even such from now on, how do you think it's going to change the rules for hiring or for recruiting people from other countries and so on?
Anisha, do you want to take that? What are your thoughts on global recruitment?
Okay, very interesting question again. So first of all, I think country is not the barrier, but the policies are, because if you're really good in your space of work, the brand in India and the brand in Europe both hire you at the same kind of balancing scale. But yes, immigration policies and the preference given to a citizen of another country can be a little, I would say, difficult. But I don't think it can be a reason for you to be lesser than another candidate. If you're good at your work, definitely the opportunities are open.
Great. Thank you so much for that, Anisha. We have one last student. In fact, we have a couple of them, and we will definitely make sure that we mail across the ones who have gone unanswered in this. But Kirtika, would you quickly like to come and ask your question?
Yes. Hi, Anisha. Thank you for the great session. So my question is, with respect to the technology, how and what measures can the brand take to market the new aspect of buying and changing the whole idea of shopping?
Okay. So thank you for your question. The first answer, the first point that I would like you to note is that a brand or a company does not have to absorb the technology. First, the country or Asia as a space has to inculcate that infrastructure. Once these things fall in place, then it's just as simple as buying the software. So once the software is there, I'm sure gradually buying, marketing, CRM, all these departments will integrate, and that's the evolution I was talking about. In terms of clients actually getting used to this kind of technological advancement, yes, it will take some time for people to get used to it. Right now, clients at times ignore emailers or WhatsApps also because they are used to visiting stores, etc. But eventually the environment will change. And if your question was very specific to the buying process, I would say buying is a very technical part of a retail or a fashion brand. So it has to be integrated with demand, the supply process, the logistics, and the marketing. So buying would be the first department that absorbs this, the whole aspect of AI or RFID, but the application has to be everywhere. So yes.
Thank you so much. I have one another question. Like, what are your reviews on the brick and mortar stores in the malls? Because definitely the malls are very scared in today's time because they don't have any footfall. And what are your views is going to happen to the brick and mortar stores when everything is going digital today?
Okay, so again, good question, but my views are a little on both the sides. So first of all, the physical stores will not lose their presence ever. That's my understanding. People don't just buy from the malls or the shops because of buying that particular item. They do visit these spaces for recreation. Eventually, I don't want to sit on my phone and order things. I do want to go out to a mall or even a standalone shop for that matter. So this experience, the virtual enhancement cannot change. So that's one aspect. My suggestion, looking at the industry right now, is that mostly the brands should have an omni-channel setup. They should be available at every platform, whether it's a physical store or whether it's online. And very specific to India, my recommendation is to be available in person, offering home shopping, or being available in person as a sales agent or a fashion consultant on call. Because some clients don't want the mass communication way. So we have to go out of our way to start getting the clients out of that shell.
Very quickly, Kirtika, on this, if you can hear me, I mean, it was an interesting conversation I picked up with one of the bigger retail players in the industry we're not talking about a brand, but we're talking about owners of malls, retail food spaces. And, one of the interesting research, particularly with India, is, as Anisha said, physical is not dying. It's an experience which Indians love. They may not buy, you might want to be at the store, look, feel, touch, go back, sit on your app and order. So online has also seen growth with the physical presence. So in a way, the physical store will act as a trigger for online buyers, particularly with the Indian mindset of, that whole physical see, feel, touch environment. So for those seeking, because a lot of young talents have the question, what happens to our professional opportunities in physical retail, physical environments? It's not going. It may be a pause again. It's going to open up, and do not worry about that, because that is going to be more important. Experience is what you are going to talk about. In-store experiences, in-store events, in-store opportunities. They're going to be used as, again, communication, if not just a point of sale. Okay. So don't worry, fear about all the jobs going digital completely. The physical aspect continues for young talents to explore and work within.
Thank you so much, Joan. Thank you.
Gauri, Anisha, do we have time for one more question? What is finished? Okay.
Okay, great. So Masoom, would you like to come and ask? Because Masoom's been DMing me. I would suggest you come and quickly ask your question, Masoom. Yes, Masoom, we can see you. Please go ahead. I'm afraid, Masoom, you're not audible to us.
Gauri, do you want to interpret her question and just ask the question
yes,
since
I'm
she's typed it?
Yes, please.
She's typed the question, so maybe if you can check with what her question is.
Surely. Okay, Masoom would like to know, why doesn't luxury brands sell their products online in India? Are you all working on this?
Question. Okay, thanks. So first of all, as I said, selling luxury or even bridge to luxury is gradually going to go online. I would not say that specific to just the brands that I have worked with, but otherwise as well. Again, the setup of omni-channel, as I said, has to be given to the client as an option, but not just in India or Asia, but even globally. The percentage of people visiting a luxury store is more because of the price point and the value expectation that they have. They don't want to spend beyond a certain part of their purchase power online, and they want to be very sure of their purchase in terms of their experience and what they are getting for that money. So yes, I think again, this answers the question.
Thank you, Anisha.
We've got almost all our questions answered today, Anisha.
I'm open to anything else that you guys want.
Also, I think very, very briefly, I know because I see the last question here, it is more on the sustainability aspect. Anisha, if you want to take that last question, the question is, the impact of fast fashion, contrary to luxury on our planet. What do you think about the idea of incorporating the theme of emotional durability in our designs? And most of the time we witness throwaway culture. Will it help being a new way towards sustainability? Can the idea like this be mixed with technological advances be required?
Okay, so thanks for informing me the question. My say on this is, again, very personal. Maybe a lot of you don't agree with me, but I feel sustainability is a concept which everybody is reading about right now. Some people are supporting it, but the percentage of people who are applying it is really less. For example, I will support a campaign online which is about sustainability, any one of us for that matter. But the fact that we are applying that sustainability or renewable aspect in our life is not seeing that much of a progress. So I think it's very important to educate people about sustainability as a concept, and coming to fashion, I feel it will still take years. I mean, the simplest point is that first become sustainable in using other things, then think of fashion. People are really ruining fossil fuels and not going to renewable resources, which is a much large scale requirement where sustainability and the concept needs to come in. I think first the entire absorption should be done there. Then fashion should again first educate people and then become sustainable. There could be a failure if brands already become sustainable and sell that point, because people don't understand that concept that much right now.
I think, Anisha, what you very rightly also said is sustainability either at the moment is celebrated as a social media celebration of, just reposting on sustainability, or it's the it thing to do. But I think sustainability, circularity in day-to-day life for the masses, or as well as if it's for fast fashion or even for the luxury sector, you rightly said, it's not just in fashion. Fashion is a segment, no doubt, that impacts the environment in far worse ways than a lot of other sectors. But I think when you look at it, from the brand's perspective, they also want the consumers to be ready to embrace it, use it, and be able to understand it. But also, Ria, since you're talking on sustainability, let me also kind of, draw your attention to some interesting conversations in fashion, technology, sustainability. Have a look at the LFS Conclave website. That's the conclave that FAD hosts every year, bringing in industry voices from around the world. And last year, we had a very interesting panel with Helsinki Fashion Week's founder, Evelyn Mora, Bandhana Tiwari, the ex-fashion director of India, and a very strong voice on sustainability. I was Asari's founder, Stefano, and Saraswati Maino, the head of Vogue Talents and deputy editor-in-chief of Vogue Italia. Run through those. There's some interesting conversations that might kind of, give you the answers you're looking for, and how, eventually we have to move to, but what's going to be the process and so on. So have a look at it. Also, there's an interesting conversation coming up on sustainability in different angles. It's not just fashion, cultural sustainability to sustainability in day-to-day lives and so on, in the following week. So keep an eye on the calendar. This is the first of the September masterclasses. There are a lot of other masterclasses on different topics. So if some of you who do not have your questions answered here, since we were trying to keep the conversation relevant to the luxury sector and opportunities and what it means for the future talents to work within this. If you feel that your question has not been addressed, feel free to write in immediately to us. There are a series of other industry insiders who are going to come in and we'll be more than happy, irrespective whether you're a FACT student or not. I think this is a broader conversation at the moment than just our students, okay? So on that note, Anisha, thank you so much for an insightful, short, power pack session. Obviously, there's only as much we can discuss within the hour, but I think the beginning of this conversation on a positive note. Also, I think we're all hoping for a positive next quarter, positive next year, and I'm sure I'm an optimist on that. There's no two ways about it. So for all you talents as well, be optimistic, be positive about it. Reach out to us if you have any questions. And Anisha, once again, from the FAD team, FAD family, and the students as well, thank you so much. Wish you all the best. And yes, I think there are going to be a lot of questions next, saying, can we work with some of the brands you worked with? And we hope that in the future, once things settle in, we have our foot in the door with opportunities for talents who are deserving and, who kind of have the ability to work for respective brands.
So again, I would like to close on this note. It's been a great short conversation, but it has sort of helped me to revise the research and the intensity of anything that's happening around and speak about it. So please do write to the Institute and make sure I'm in loop. I would love to share material also that I have, which can be your first-hand study or research source. And apart from that, please remember the demotivation has come out as a form of entrepreneurial gimmicks and rather digital gimmicks, which say that the industry is failing and there is no future, because people are really working day and night to take this ahead.
Thank you, Anisha. Thank you so much on behalf of everybody, and hope to see you soon on further engagement with students on the course as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Have a great time.
Thank you.
Stay
Thank
positive,
you, everybody.
And all the best for your future aspirations and ambitions, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.